jobs or our livelihoods. Don't mess with the good work of the people who live here and the lifeblood that our world needs. Without the Permian Basin, without the production capability that we provide here, our nation would be cold, dark, and hungry. We're here today to say we're going to defend American energy. To the people who want to shut us down, back off. Our nation and our world need the Permian Basin. The Permian Basin is the epicenter of oil and gas production, not just for this country, but for the world. Supplying not only Texas and the United States, but the world with affordable, reliable energy. And it's clean, and it's doing things that no other product on this earth can do. It's energy that has raised 1 billion people out of poverty over the last 10 years. Thanks to the work that is done right here in Midland, Odessa, Texas, our great nation has reached energy independence for the first time in decades. No longer are we dependent on foreign countries for our own energy needs to heat our homes, fuel our industry and our innovation, and put gas in our cars and our trucks to do the work that is done every single day, to power our military. But President Biden wants to end all that. In fact, in the first weeks of his presidency, he's launched an all-out assault on American energy. He's threatened our national security by forcing our country back into dependence on other countries, on unstable oil supplies, completely obliterating millions of jobs in this country. Private industry and innovation have already brought harmful emissions in this country down to levels that they haven't been at in decades. But rejoining the Paris Climate Accords will do us no good. In fact, they embolden and they actually help China and India, the largest criminals when it comes to pollution in this world. His decision to halt drilling and permitting on federal lands is already decimating states like New Mexico, of which companies right here in the Permian Basin operate. I am honored to have the top Republican in the House of Representatives joining me here today, and the top Republican on the Natural Resources Committee here in Midland. Leader McCarthy, Ranking Member Westerman, thank you for standing with the 2 million jobs in Texas and the 10 million jobs in the United States. Folks, it's simple. Energy security is national security. Thank you all for being here today, and I'd like to turn it over to the Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy, for some comments.
Thank you, August. Thank you all very much. I want to be a little special to thank you to Diamondback for the tour. First of all, I want to say a little something about August Pfluger. He may have only been in Congress for a short time period, but he is no freshman. The ability to bring the ranking member of Natural Resources, Bruce Westerman, here. I'm as leader of the Republican Party, but I come from California. But I come from a part of California that produces the most amount of oil for California. I know firsthand the detriment of what I'm seeing with this new administration. But August has the passion. He's already been elected leader within his freshman class for the steering committee, but he is the first freshman, Republican or Democrat, to introduce a bill. And the reason why he's so passionate about that, what he sees coming out of the White House. No one would have thought that with one stroke of a pen, you could end 1 million jobs. But it's even worse when you look at the faces of those who are losing their job. The union workers making the Keystone Pipeline, the hotels, the restaurants. But President Biden never spoke to any of them. He just did it by a stroke of a pen. We watch the detriment of what it's doing to the energy industry here in America. But the worst part about that is making our adversaries stronger and making us weaker. The other part that it will do, even if you have nothing to do with the energy industry, the affordability. Check the price of gasoline today and tell me where it is in a year. You could thank Joe Biden for that. The affordability and the cost for almost every product that we buy is going to go up because of what this president did. The jobs that have been laid off, the homes that may be foreclosed because they won't have another one. And the idea of the answer to go make solar panels just does not work. That's why August Pfluger is working so hard, to turn the tide back the other way. We know what it means when America's stronger, the world is safer. When America's energy independent, we're environmentally safer. That we're not getting our oil and resources from another country, but we're actually doing it here in an environmentally safe, sound way. The technology that goes in to what's happening in the drilling behind is like landing on the moon. Be able to go down a couple miles and out another. The safety that goes behind it. The environmentally sound way we're able to do it. But what's more importantly, the American jobs that we're creating, the affordability of the energy of lower cost, and we're making the world safer. You know, as they shut down pipelines, what does that mean? It comes from another country. So on the East Coast, when they bring natural gas from Russia, what does that mean? That's 42% dirtier. American energy is cleaner than the foreign entities that are making it. And you're sending money to our adversaries instead of creating American jobs. That's why we're here today. That's why we're fighting back. And that's why we're asking President Biden, just as another Democrat has, to reverse the course when it comes to the Keystone Pipeline. Keep the promise. Keep America strong. Stop making Russia and China stronger on the detriment of America. We need jobs here, and we want to keep them here. And we want our energy to be affordable and environmentally sound. With that, I want to introduce the ranking member for Natural Resources, Bruce Westerman.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and thank you, August, and thank you, Diamondback, for hosting us today. Greetings from Arkansas, and God bless Texas. It's great to be here and see what you're doing to create high-paying jobs, to create energy stability for our country. And it's embarrassing to see what's happening with this administration, where with the stroke of a pen, they affect 20 to 30% of our country's energy production on federal lands. Now, that may not affect you here today because this is not federal land, but don't believe they're not coming after all fossil fuels. We're going to work hard to be the voice to push back on this administration, to ask them to have some common sense. You know, my career before I got into Congress was in engineering, and I'm amazed to see the technology that's here, to see the innovation that's taking place in this industry. And I know that in engineering projects that you have to have a plan. This doesn't just happen. It starts a long time ago to get to the point that you're here today. And what I don't see from this administration is a plan. I see a lot of reactions. They talk about having an energy plan for the future, but when asked about the high-paying green jobs, the response was, there's a plan to create a plan. We know that you don't have a plan to create a plan, you start with a plan. And the world can learn a lot from what's happening here in the Permian Basin, what's happening with clean energy production all around the world. What we all do is we breathe the air, we drink the water. Nobody wants dirty air, nobody wants dirty water, and we're all working to make that better. And as a conservative, I'll tell you that the word conservation is derived from the word conservative. Real conservation is about being good stewards of what we have and leaving the world in a better place for our future. And that's what we're working for. And we believe you can have a clean environment and a strong economy at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. And Republican policies that we'll be pushing will be doing just that, to make our economy stronger, to make our environment cleaner, and to make life better for future generations. So again, thank you for the work you're doing. God bless Texas, and it's great to be here.
Yeah. Let's take a few questions. I'm really cold, so don't do too many on me, all right? I can't hear. Go ahead, Stella. The question was, as members of the minority party, what can we do to protect the energy industry? One thing we had done when we were in the majority is to allow America to become energy independent. We lifted the export ban. We found that more oil and gas were produced in a more environmentally sound, and it made the world safer, made America stronger. The one thing we're finding is right now it's one person destroying the American dream, American energy field, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, by one stroke of a pen. We are fighting back. We've introduced a number of pieces of bills. The one thing you find, first, they've gone after federal land. What does that mean for New Mexico? That's going to be 20% of all the revenue they bring into the state. But what's more importantly, it's going to hurt their schools, not just their jobs. But it makes our adversaries stronger and us weaker. So we're going to have a number of bills introducing, but what we're asking is, Join with us. Those on the other side of the aisle, many of you may represent in Texas. Don't follow Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden. Follow your constituents. Care about the jobs. Care about the country. Join with us. Reverse the Keystone Pipeline. Allow people to produce their energy here in America and make us stronger. Any other questions? I know in Washington they're doing an impeachment. What they should be doing is working about making America stronger. Our first priority should be putting the 10 million Americans out of work back to work. Should be putting our children back to school. It should be making sure that every American that wants a vaccine can get it. That's the priority we should be doing instead of wasting the time on that impeachment. Thank you all. I know you're cold as well. Take care. All right, make it fast.
Thank you all for being here today, and appreciate you taking an interest in this. To Diamondback, thank you for having us and hosting us on this tour. Go ahead. Yeah, you know, as Leader McCarthy said, this industry is very focused on making every effort to ensure that we have the cleanest and most environmentally friendly product. We've done that over the last 3 decades. Flaring is a great example of it. The local companies, the independent producers, are taking those steps to make sure we can get that product to market. One of the things that the Biden administration did by signing an executive order that placed a moratorium not only on drilling but also on the permitting was they shut off the right-of-ways to get that product to market. That's antithetical to your question of how do we make sure that we don't flare gas, that we put it to good use. Thank you all very much.